All right, guys, welcome to our review show. We're going to talk about some of the stuff we talked about in Social Studies 10. We got basketball star Matthew Gers asking some questions. Matthew, Social Studies 10. Thank you, Matthew. Ask some questions. Floor's yours.
What does sustainability mean and how does it relate to stewardship?
Yeah, so sustainability, essentially what that means is we use resources in a way that does not jeopardize future generations. And so when we talk about natural resources, that's essentially using things like oil, gas, all the stuff we got, lumber, in a way that does not jeopardize future generation. And that ties into stewardship, because stewardship is the idea that it's our responsibility to care for those resources. And so as good stewards, we handle stuff in a sustainable manner. And there's a lot of spirituality involved in this, as we see with some Christian ideology, with the First Nation worldview. It's all about, we're part of the world, we got to take care of it.
And what is trade liberalization and what is it opposite?
Yeah, so trade liberalization. So one of the things we talked about is ization is a process. And so trade liberalization is essentially the process in which we remove barriers to trade. And so that's reduction of tariffs. And so essentially what we do, the reason why we trade liberalize, we want to encourage business into our country. And so we want to remove the barriers and rules to trade and remove tariffs. The opposite of trade liberalization is economic nationalism. And economic nationalism is when we focus on local business. We see Donald Trump's Make America Great Again. This America First mentality is part of economic nationalism, where we focus on local business first.
Got it. What is privatization and deregulation?
Yeah, so privatization essentially is when crown corporations, which are government run. Do you know why we call them crown corporations in Canada?
I do not.
Well, essentially because our head of state is the Queen. And so government-owned companies are crown corporations. And crown corporations, what we do is when we sell them to private investors is privatization. And deregulation is when we remove those barriers to trade. So we did this activity last week with deregulation with the TENS, in which we saw that anytime we remove the barriers to trade, though we increase the chance of success, we also increase the chance of failure. High risk, high reward.
Got it. What is comparative advantage?
Comparative advantage is very simple. Essentially, it's the idea that if I have a comparative advantage over you, that means I can make something cheaper. And so the example I gave is that if LeBron James, good at basketball, like yourself, essentially, even if he's good at cutting grass, he should have a kid like you cut his grass, because he actually will save money. Because in the time he spent cutting his grass, he could have made more money doing other things. So comparative advantage is essentially when you can do something for cheaper. And so that's why in Canada we send stuff to be made in India and Bangladesh, because they have a comparative advantage over us, because they can make things cheaper than us because of labor costs.
What is conservation and how can this be done?
So conservation is when we protect and use Earth's resources in a smart way, and we prevent from overuse. And so this can be done through legislation. This can be done through projects. It can be done through people planting trees, like 10 tree, that brand. And so this can be a number of different ways. And so Greta Thunberg, she's a climate activist recently, and she advocates for conservation. We have to protect and use Earth's resources in a way that does not overuse them and exploit them. And so conservation, the key word is conserve. So conservation, conserve. All right, thanks Matthew. Thanks for coming out. Good luck at your basketball game. Hopefully you win, finally. Thank you.